Hey everybody, welcome to a Thursday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder, sitting up here on a show called Box Seats with two comedians who've been in the comedy game for a long time. There's talent right there. He got a t-shirt on, so you know he's in warm weather. And that's Fig, and he got a t-shirt on, but he in cold weather. So he's got been in the comedy game for a long time. And since I got a turtleneck, and this one, I just came from outside. It's 35 degrees outside, and it's cold outside. But anyway.
Or somebody paid their heating bill and somebody did that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Anyway, let's get ready to get the show started. You know, this is a show where comics and we talk about sports with a touch of comedy, and when we give you our take on what's going on. And I always had a COVID report, but today's COVID report is kind of interesting because it flashed up on the news. It almost made major news because the Kansas City Chiefs were in line getting a haircut, and their barber tested positive, and they had to stop. One of the players got caught mid haircut, and he was like, "Man, just finish, because at the end of the day, I can't walk around with a half head."
Wait a minute. So let me find out the results came up on the Clippers. He was cutting the hair. 1 second. Oh damn. What's up? You zeke me? No, I didn't zeke. I'm positive. This is crazy.
You know the funny thing is I mentioned this to you guys maybe a couple weeks ago. I said, what happens if the coronavirus takes out some players? Now Patrick Mahomes was in line, a couple of Sammy Watkins was in line, a couple of the Kansas City Chiefs players was in line trying to get the coronavirus. Now I don't know what to think about this, but I'll throw the ball to you first, Down, and tell me what you think about hearing that Kansas City Chiefs players is still in Kansas City. That's number one. And number two, they all in line trying to get a haircut from the barber, and the barber has, the virus. And then they here's the crazy thing. They didn't wait for his results to come back. They started cutting their heads, knowing that the result was coming in, and the line is already there. The players are already mixing the room. And then they said, "Oh, the results are in. He's positive. Stop everything we're doing." What's your thoughts on that, Talent?
I think it's great. Didn't I just say, remember I said I wouldn't know where to bet, where I'm going to bet my money. I say I wait to the very last minute because COVID's going to play a part. Like, we can't assume 2 weeks is a lot of time. You got 2 weeks before the Super Bowl in between time. You know what I'm shocked about, Frank? The bigger question is, this is the biggest game of the year. You work real hard to get to this game. Why are the powers that be, the higher ups, why wouldn't you, because this seems very remedial to me, why wouldn't I, once I know I made the Super Bowl, I give you a little day or two to celebrate, be excited and happy. Then I'll lock your ass in what I call a pre-Super Bowl bubble.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't that be on the table? I don't care how big a star you are, whatever. The big thing is to win this game, because this game is the end-all, be-all to everybody's money, everybody's bottom line. I don't understand why that wouldn't happen. My thing is, like, if everybody's taking COVID tests, the timing just seems real wicked. If you know we're waiting on results, shouldn't you wait for that haircut? It's just a haircut.
Yeah, that's what I said. But what do I know? Fig, what's your thought?
Yeah, what do I know?
I can't imagine why a haircut would be so important to a football player. Don't they wear helmets?
Yeah.
Word.
Just say, yo, you wearing a helmet, yo. Why do you care about a haircut? You know what I mean? I can see if it was the NBA finals or something like that, where people can actually see your hair. Can't nobody see your hair? And you're not going to wait for the results? You're not going to wait for the results to get a haircut, yo? Like, really? That's what we're doing now? We're going to have you take a COVID test. But we don't forget the fact you took the test. What about the results? We're not waiting for the results, huh? All right, yeah. Go ahead and take the test. Results? Who cares? I don't want the results.
Yeah, but I think that's where we are now. I don't understand. Listen, I don't understand how the Kansas City Chiefs ownership and management and everything else, how they're handling a lot of stuff. Like I said at the beginning of this, I don't even know why Kansas City Chiefs are still in Kansas City. They should be in Tampa, isolated right now. They should not be mixing and mingling with family and other people while they're preparing to go to the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. Getting a haircut, that only came up to the rise because the dude tested positive. But what happens if they go out to get something to eat? There's a whole lot of things that can happen that you should not be putting yourself in the middle of that could take you out of the game when the Super Bowl is literally 4 days away. You should be in a bubble. That's just my thought process. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. But let me move on to the next thing I want to talk about. Lamar Odom is jumping in the boxing ring, y'all. Like, he's another celebrity jumping in the boxing ring. Lamar Odom is getting ready to fight another celebrity named Aaron Carter. They're scheduled to fight June 12th in Atlantic City for 3 rounds. Now, here's the thing. Lamar Odom is 41, okay? Aaron Carter, who's a singer, he's 33. Now, it's going to me, this is just a money grab, all kinds of ways, shape, and form, but it's in sports, and somebody's going to get knocked out. I think Aaron Carter might get knocked. Listen, these days you can't say he's going to get knocked out or not, but it's silly. I mean, I don't even know why, it's even in the forefront, but here we are, talent. What's your thought?
I think he's crazy to sign up to fight a singer. He knocked your ass out. He going to sing that. He'll be like, did you knock him out? Ooh, yeah. Baby, yeah. Baby, yeah. Well, you're crazy. Let me tell you something. Lamar Odom is one of those guys. I know he probably could use a few bucks, but he can't use any more bad press.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you have that kind of bad press in your catalog, I think you want to go towards all good press at this point. And, this is something that we're going to mention the name Lamar Odom. You want it to be mentioned in a comeback light. This ain't no guarantee, bro. Now, fingers crossed you win, because then it's good news. But again, this is boxing. I'm a big Nate Robinson fan. Where am I right now?
Yeah. Listen, I'll say this right now for the record. You do not want on your record, any way, shape, or form, fun or no fun, that you got knocked out by an R&B singer. I don't care what nobody said. I don't care what nobody said. Ain't you the dude who got knocked out by the R&B singer? Fake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, let me tell you something. If I get knocked out, it's going to be by a rapper. Damn that. I'm not getting knocked out by no R&B singer. I don't want to do that, man. He was like, yo, man, you be arguing with your wife later on and be like, yeah, you didn't feel that way when, but what's her name knocks you out? Man, I can't, man. I just can't. Lamar Odom almost killed himself at the Bunny Ranch. Why you getting this Bunny Ranch, yo?
At the Bunny Ranch.
He was at the Bunny Ranch. He almost died at the Bunny Ranch. How you boxing now?
Well, you know what? It makes sense now, Fig. I forgot that it was called the Bunny Ranch. Everything makes sense.
Oh my goodness!
He went to the Bunny Ranch and got knocked out by a rabbit punch.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with y'all. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is shocking, and I'm gonna say this. I saw it somewhere. It got verified, and I've yet to see it on ESPN, Fox Sports, and I've been flipping the channels for this. Here's the news item. The news item that is that the Indianapolis Colts owner, Jim Irsay, met with Andrew Luck. It was confirmed by Andrew Luck's wife. He said that Andrew Luck went to go meet with Jim Irsay. Now, the rumors have now started. Why are those two meeting to have a conversation with? And the rumors are starting that Andrew Luck said he feels good. He feels he's better. His back is not bothering him and everything else. So the shocking news literally could be that at the beginning of this upcoming season, that Andrew Luck could come back and quarterback the Indianapolis Colts. What's your thought on that, Talent?
Hello. Yeah, I got to call you back. I'm doing box seats. All right. That was Alex Smith. Alex Smith, bro. I mean, it's amazing. It's the comeback. It's becoming the comeback league. It's funny because on my news show this morning, the whole news show seemed like it was sponsored by white privilege. These dudes are playing around because they can. They can feel one way this year, take a year or two off, go to the gym, work out, make that call, get back in pocket. Somebody gonna pick the phone up, and somebody gonna say, "Really? Come on, let's work them out." Whatever case may be. Let's rewind back when a guy named Kaepernick made a couple of phone calls, and they made a whole hoopla about where it was, when it was. Oh, we're not going because we don't like that school, or we don't know that school. Now, mind you, the cars and transport was in place. It wasn't like you had to go out your way to go see the guy work out because he's trying to make a comeback in the league. I think this part of the show is sponsored by white privilege again. I think when Andrew Luck left, a lot of these guys, you know, they may use one excuse, I think, but it'd be another. I think his thing was more mental and where he was in a mental space more than anything physical. And like they do, when they wake up and they're ready to come back to work, we let them back to work.
Okay. Fig, what's your thought process? Jim Irsay meeting with Andrew Luck. His wife confirmed it. They text back and forth. She did not say what it was about. Speculation is running rampant that right now that Andrew Luck could come back and play for the Indianapolis Colts and be quarterback this upcoming season. What's your thoughts?
Hey, man, listen. Andrew Luck took a look at the salary cap and saw that it was $40 million and was like, you know, $40 million. I'm feeling pretty good. My back don't hurt no more. My feet feel good. Been laying around the house watching TV. $40 million. I can use $40 million. $40 million a year. It's like, yeah, it sounds really good while you at home until he take that first hit. So you think that first hit, then it'll be like, that's why I quit. That's why I retired. I retired because these guys hit hard. This is ridiculous. Listen, all I'm telling you is this. This wouldn't happen for nobody else. Andrew Luck need to change his last name to Lucky. His name should be Andrew Lucky, because if he gets back in the NFL, he lucky than a mug. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the funny thing is I knew when he had said he had back injuries, I knew there was a possibility that he could come back. But I'm not going to lie. I'm tripping that it's so soon. I thought it'd be like maybe one more year, because this was the beginning of last year, like before the pandemic hit and everything else. And he said he had back problems. You know, he was saying, listen, I got my back really hurts. You know, but for him meeting with the owner and his wife saying something like that, and then the news got out on that, and then I think there's something more going on than is being reported. That's just my thought process.
I think his wife is his agent. She was like, Andrew, the salary cap is $40 million. Your back is not that bad.
But in her defense, I don't know if you guys know, she is a licensed masseuse. She got to be the best masseuse in the world.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, let me move on, right, and then talk about this other thing. Here's the next statement, man. I don't know if you all got a chance to see Dick Vermeil's statement about Deshaun Watson. He was completely out of pocket. He said he was disappointed in Deshaun, disappointed how it was happening, and disappointed in what Deshaun's doing. And I wanted to, you know, reach to the TV and say, what in the hell did Deshaun do? All Deshaun said was, I want to leave Houston because it's a train wreck. I've sat here, y'all trading my best wide receiver. I even got an extension because I wanted to put the future, but enough's enough. I can't do it. I can't take it. So I'm like, Dick Vermeil, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you couldn't have sat through that. So I don't know. Then Brett Favre comes and says something along the lines of the same statement that he disappointed Deshaun. I'm like, yo, y'all are tripping, man. But
I'm canceling Brett Favre. I'm canceling Brett Favre because. And I was one of his biggest fans, man. And I'm ashamed because, again, sponsored by white privilege. Yep. You say to this man, it's something about a black man being in a position of power and money that irks other people. He has joined the ranks, and I'm talking about Brett Favre. He has joined the ranks of this crazy Ingram chick on Fox News that pretty much says shut up and dribble to LeBron and KD. He basically said the same thing in a few words towards Deshaun Watson. He said, we get paid a whole lot of money to do a job. Just shut up and do the job. Then he goes on to say, well, it's a different time and era, so, you know, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Try to backpedal towards the end of the statement. And then everybody jumped on him, was like, dude, when did time have something to do with people having an opinion upon what they, you know, their career and their future? Everybody, no matter if you pay me $5 or $5 million, I should have an opinion about the direction I want to go in.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I think you're absolutely right with everything you said. I will say this for the record. I think that all those dudes right now are tripping, and they're not looking at it from his point of view. And maybe it is a black-white thing. I mean, maybe it is. But I don't know. What's your thoughts, Fig?
I'm not interested in hearing anything from an 80-year-old man named Dick. Dick Vermeil. I don't even like the way that name sounds, Dick Vermeil, because it sounds like food, and I don't appreciate it. He needs to change his first name back to Richard Vermeil. Then I might want to hear what the hell he has to say. But as long as they keep calling him Dick Vermeil, I'm not interested in anything that Dick has to say. I'm not interested in any kind of Dick whatsoever until he changes his name to Richard. And as for Brett, I don't give a damn what Brett said. Brett, he's the same quarterback who quit, went to the Jets, retired, came back, took over. Like, Brett, you quit 12 times and came back. And then, like, what are you talking about? Why is he a person who talking about a quarterback doesn't get to do what he wanted to do? And that's exactly what Brett did. Even when a coach would call a play, Brett would do something else.
Listen, Brett went from the Packers to the Vikings, which was their rival, to the Jets.
He went to the Jets?
Yeah. He was I'm like, bro, he shouldn't have said nothing. I'm like, man, you need to sit down and just let that one go by. Don't even comment on that comment. Like, let that one go by. But anyway, let's move the conversation along. Since we're talking about quarterbacks on the move, the next QB that I'm talking about on the move right now is the Derek Carr, believe it or not, is on the shopping block. And because we talk about Deshaun Watson, the Raiders are now threw their hat in the mix. But check this out. Derek Carr on the move with the Raiders. And then I literally saw 10 minutes before we got on the air, while I was on another conference call or anything else, Deshaun Watson's best friend said through TMZ that Deshaun Watson has a lot of interest to go to Denver. And if not Denver, the Raiders. So I was like, wow, that's what his best friend said. Now, of course, it's not coming out of Deshaun Watson's mouth, but everybody's going to, because Deshaun Watson's not saying anything, we all have to continue on with our speculation because Deshaun Watson is continuing to lead the story every single day in this conversation about, what's going on in the news leading up to the Super Bowl. But, Talon, what's your thoughts about, number one, Derek Carr being on the move because the Raiders are all in on Deshaun Watson? What's your thoughts?
I think that sounds about right. Perfect. Both of those two teams, it's you'll be hard pressed with this guy's talent. Let's face it, with Deshaun's, his talent, you'd be hard pressed to find a bad team for him to go to. But when we talk about ideal, that's the next word. Those are two great ideal situations. I think those are instant turnaround situations for him. I think that even with it's a lot more loosey-goosey for him as far as Vegas goes when he go to the Raiders, because it's something about going somewhere new. And when you're trying to make your mark, so to speak, in the game, in history, it's something about going somewhere and being a part of something new. When you look at a franchise that's been at this one place for a long time, you got to compete with a bunch of historical people in there. But to be in Vegas, to be freshly put in Vegas, new city, he could put a stamp on Vegas like no one else. You go to Denver, you got to win some chips because you got Elway. You obviously got Manning went over there. So you got a place that has chips with some big profile names. But in Vegas, just being in Vegas, you get to start making a new legacy. I like it.
Right. So, Fig, what's your thought process on Derek Carr on the move because the Raiders are all in trying to get Deshaun Watson?
First off, it makes me nervous because I thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So how did this get out? How did we find out that Derek Carr was on the move? You know what I mean? I thought everything that happened in Vegas is supposed to be a secret. There's something wrong with this picture. The fact that Derek Carr is on the move came out. I guess somebody saw him packing his car and found out and said, yo, Derek Carr is on the move. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying. Deshaun Watson, I know he wants to get out of Houston, but do you want to get out of Houston and go to Vegas?
Interesting.
I like the Raiders, though. I like the Raiders. I like what they did. You know what I mean? They was formidable and stuff like that. It seemed like they got a couple of weapons over there. And if Deshaun goes over there, I can see him making some noise. I can see him making some noise in Vegas. As long as he stays away from the Strip, I think he'll be all right.
But you know what the question is? Neither one of you all addressed the fact about Derek Carr being on the move. Neither one of you all said, what you thought about him leaving the Raiders and where he might possibly land. I'm going to throw it up there right now and say Denver, the Colts, there's a couple of places Derek Carr can land because Derek Carr does not suck. You know what I mean? Like he's not that bad of a quarterback. I like him like Matt Stafford. I think they're in the same neighborhood. You know what I mean?
No.
But
Derek Carr's a bum, first of all. Second of all, this show's only an hour. I would not like to waste a lot of time talking about where Derek Carr's going. I'll tell you where Derek Carr's going. In his car to go to the next city. Derek Carr. Are you kidding me? Are you going to waste? When I signed to do this show, I signed to talk about important stuff. I don't know about
let me move this. Let me move it on. Let me move it on.
Where Derek Carr's gonna land? He ain't landing nowhere because he's driving.
Let me ask you this next question, because now obviously because the Super Bowl is happening, and immediately after the Super Bowl, the hottest quarterback that everybody's going to be talking about is going to be Sam Darnold, because the Jets have the number 2 pick, and obviously everyone's going to be talking about the draft. So my question to you all is, do you think that Sam Darnold, and we've asked this question before, the landscape has changed a lot because a couple of quarterbacks are getting ready to be on the move in the next week and a half, and Sam Darnold could be one of them. Talent, do you think the Jets have changed their mind now since they looked at the situation, what happened with LA, the situation, what happened with Detroit, and you think they're having second guess and saying, you know what, maybe we should trade Sam Darnold and get that, that pick, that second round pick?
I wish that I could jump in there and hold firm with my old decision, like he ain't going nowhere. I can't even do that now because Woody's back into play.
Right.
Once Woody came back into play, Woody has been known to be, a shaker-upper, if you will. In no holds barred, Woody will do some crazy stuff, man. Woody will turn around and bring in the Sixers, the starting 5 from the Sixers for the front line of the Jets. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that we keep Sam because, as you know from me and Big talking, as New York fans, Sam Darnold is a top premier quarterback, and sky's the limit for this guy. He's young, and he's only he hasn't even peaked yet and shown promise. So it took a while for the Jets to get back in that saddle, so to speak. We've been bouncing around in the quarterback position before we got solid. Now we seem to be solid, at least in that position, and now Woody's back. And like you said, the number 2 pick and all these choices and everything, man, I can't even call it, bro.
Okay, Fig, the question falls on you.
If the Jets are going to make any kind of wise decisions, man, I think they hold on to Sam Darnold and get that receiver as the number 2 pick. Mm-hmm. That's what I think they do. I mean, because here's the thing. In order for you to get Deshaun Watson, first off, he has to say that he wants to go there. So if he says, all right, the Jets is a viable option, I might want to go to the Jets. The Jets have a lot to give up to be able to get, Deshaun Watson. But they got to give up Sam Darnold. They got to give up the number 2 pick. They got to give up some more picks. And we know the Jets they're void of weapons. They need some weapons. You understand what I'm saying? So to give up a whole bunch of first-round picks and second-round picks and third-round picks, plus to give up your quarterback just to get one player, it just doesn't make sense. That's a bad move because they don't have enough players to put around a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. All right, let's move. I want to see if I get Major League Baseball in before we leave today, but we'll see what happens. But I got to talk to you all about something, switching gears, because Bradley Beal made the news again. Bradley Beal last night logged his 17th straight game with 25 points, as the Washington beat Miami. They won last night. The game, you know what I mean? The game was a W, and he scored 25 points. Now,
no, 25 plus.
25 plus, right. Now, for 17 straight games. Again, he's in the same conversation with Michael Jordan because no other player has done this NBA history. Now, I'm going to ask you this. I'm sorry with you, Talent. Is this just one of them hot moments where we're looking at a player who's just getting hot, or is Bradley Beal the real deal, like I think he is?
I think he's the real deal. Not only that, Frank, I think he's smart. I think he's the real deal, and he's smart. First of all, let's note that this is the 17th consecutive game with over 25 points consecutively, but Jordan only had 16. Let's note that, right? Yeah. I think he's smart because I think it's starting to be very apparent that he knows his team is going to suck this year. And he knows how good his potential is. And a smart player will say, you know what? because if you think about it, this is the Bulls with Jordan's Bulls the first 7 seasons. I know our team ain't going nowhere, but I'm going to make people look at me as a bad dude, one of the best players in the league. That was Jordan's first 6, 7 seasons. You know what I mean? He went out there and became the prolific scorer and assassin that he's known to become, but they still was losing. They didn't have enough pieces to really contend and go to a championship. And I think Bradley Beal is seeing that and saying, okay, I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, but I'm about to put all my joint on the line to give notice to the rest of the league how bad of a boy I am.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the news came out last night also that Bradley Beal says he wants to continue to maintain and stay in Washington, which is major kudos to him. He's in the category of what's that dude's name in Portland? Portland, yeah, Giannis, the dude in Portland.
Dame Dollar.
They don't want to leave. They don't want to leave this. They're going to stick it out with their team. They're going to just do what they're going to do. Now, listen, Fig, Bradley Beal is in the news again. Same question to you. Is this a facade or is Bradley Beal the real deal, or we just haven't noticed? You know what I mean? What's your thought process, Fig?
No, man, I've always been, had my eye on Bradley Beal and his skill set because, he was that number 2 dude when John Wall was there, but I never thought that he was the number 2 dude. I always thought he was the guy. I mean, he didn't have all of the, all of the hoopla and stuff like that around his name, but his skills, he was always that guy as far as I was concerned, man. I don't know, man. It's just, it's almost like the Scottie Pippen effect. How dope was Scottie Pippen? And people don't really know because he played next to Jordan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think it was the same way with Beal because he had John Wall on his squad. I don't think people really recognize how dope he was.
The problem is, or the thing is, it should be said, is that the ownership should have got Bradley Beal and John Wall more help instead of splitting them up. They already had 2 pieces right there. Those 2 dudes they're beasts on the court. Those 2 dudes are beasts on the court. Now you separate them, and who knows how far they can go. I mean, see. Let me move on the conversation because the Philadelphia 76ers are raising eyebrows, bro. Both of y'all. They won their 14th straight game, even though everybody's all enamored with Brooklyn. Everybody's all enamored with it because they got the big 3 and everything else. Quiet as kept. Nobody's talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. Nobody's talking about they won their 14th straight game. Nobody's talking about Joel Embiid. His talent is the number 1 center in the league, scoring-wise, defensive-wise. And Doc, listen, Doc is getting them boys to ball out. Nobody's talking about the Sixers. Now, is it only going to last for a little while? What's your thought on the Sixers right now, Talent? Because it's the Sixers.
That's why nobody's talking about it. Because they're looking for them to turn into – because the last few seasons, this has been the Sixers. They start out, they look great, they're contending, they're in the top 4. You're like, oh, they're gonna be the number 1 seed. They're going to be number 2 seed. They're going to be 3 seed. Then when you get further in, you're like, they don't want to be here. They don't want to play. They look like they want to play, but they don't want to play. This is the Sixers are the number 1, the finest girl in high school. Keep smiling at you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
It take you 4 marking periods to get up the nerve to go, hey, we go to the movies. And she go, I got a boyfriend. What the hell you been smiling at me for 4 marking periods? Now I'm rejected. The Sixers give you rejection or letdown every season. So it's no wonder that people are not jumping on that story. Like, oh my God, Sixers are the beast in the East. They're being very precautious, taking their time because nobody likes a letdown or rejection. Me being one of them, I'm going to give it, like I told you, I think it was like 2 games ago. I'm going to give them about 8 more games. If they beasting like this, 8 more games, I'm going to be like, you know what? Sixers are real, bro.
Okay.
But not until then.
It could be stated that now they got a much better coach. You know what I mean? And maybe Doc is getting ready to take him to the whole, at least into somewhat of the promised land. Fig, are the Sixers for real? What you think? They won 14 straight games. Doc got them winning. Joel Embiid is right now the number 1 center in the league. He's scoring better. He's in the box. Everything especially you, everything you've been saying about big man in the league, he's doing all that and then some. And now guess what? He's getting the rankings. It's there. It's being noticed. What's your thoughts, Fig?
Man, this is difficult for me to talk about because Talent started talking about high school and the girl that you asked out and she turned you down, and it just brought back some bad memories for me, man. And I don't know how I'm gonna be able to go on with the show, man. I'm having flashbacks of high school rejection. These damn analogies telling you. No, but Joel Embiid is a beast, man. I kept saying that if you put Joel Embiid where he belongs on the floor and stop trying to turn him into Steph Curry, he could probably dominate the league. That's what we've been saying for a long time since we started talking about him. I always thought that there were a few teams that had an opportunity to make it to the end of to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Philadelphia was definitely one. Nets had too much talent not to be in that conversation. We talk about Milwaukee because they've been there before, and their team seems to have gotten better. They have Giannis. And, of course, we talk about Boston. Those are the 4 top teams in the East that we think have an opportunity to make it. And with the addition of Doc Rivers as their coach, who has a great pedigree as a coach, a championship winner, in Boston, Doc Rivers seems to have galvanized these players and put them in the best position to be able to win, and put a system in that allows them to show off their talents, at a high level.
Now, I want to talk about the Lakers. A book came out yesterday. I want to talk about the Lakers. But before I jump into this book that is definitely going to have us having a serious conversation, I want to bring in my man, Mr. Rodney Perry, see whether or not he agrees or disagrees with the statements that we've been making this early on in this show right now. So, Rodney Perry, the floor is yours. Oh, he got clippers on.
Yo.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
I heard you guys talking about Rivers and what a wonderful job he's doing out there with those 76ers, and hopefully he can keep it together and they don't end up being dysfunctional. But let's go. First of all, I noticed that I was watching the show and I was able to see the background that we use to advertise the show, the box seats. And is there any way we can get Talon to stop biting his lip? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Talon and his sexy face. I'm sick of it.
Oh God!
He always talk about I'm single, I'm doing this, and crazy analogies. Find a girl like, what the hell? Lamar Odom, boxing, and y'all spoke against Lamar Odom like I knew y'all would. Okay. What you don't know is that Lamar Odom is a friend of mine, and he told me that when he was in that brothel in Nevada that he gave the P a black eye. So based on his ability to get a P a black eye, I say Lamar Odom wins. We talked about Frank's Pelican breach many times. If I hear one more story about an ancillary person, Sean Watson's brother was talking yesterday. Today we got Andrew Luck's wife, and another story about Deshaun Watson's best friend. Who we get these stories from? I know you do a lot of painstaking research, Frank. I just. I took the liberty of doing some research myself. It looks like Dick Vermeil and Alonzo and LaMelo are entrenched in a big real estate deal. So it looks like Dick and the balls are getting together. Hold on. No, interrupt me, please, guys. Let me get through this.
I'm sorry.
Dick Vermeil, or AKA Richard, as Fig was saying, Dick Vermeil and Alonzo and LaMelo
Oh God.
are entrenched in a big real estate deal. So it looks like Dick hitting the ball are going to be doing some big things coming up in the near future. Shouts out to Dick and the Ball brothers.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
Well done, Dick Vermeil and LaMelo and Alonzo.
Oh man, I can't.
Hold on, these guys are proven to be entrepreneurs. Well done, guys. Derek Carr is rumored to be on the move. I'm not sure where he's going to end up, but he will never wear a Denver uniform. Just on sheer rivalry alone, Raiders never go to Denver or Kansas City. It'll never happen. They hate those guys with a passion. Shouts out to the Jets. There was some Jet talk. I'm just glad it didn't last long.
Oh man.
The question was asked, why is nobody talking about the 76ers? And I know the answer to that. Because we are talking about Bradley Beal being good. When we should be talking about the 76ers actually being good and winning. Do I need to get the Bradley Beal Award again?
No. You don't need to do that.
I won't do it.
You don't need to do that.
Embiid is playing some great ball, man. And I got this information from John Watson's best friend, brother, and Andrew Luck's wife. And for the record, we're talking about that gospel celebration they do. It is actually players that they form a choir and they sing every year the day before the Super Bowl. So this has been happening for the last maybe 20 years.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
It just started getting televised within the last like 7 to 8 years. And so Ricky Smiley is hosting this year, and so it should be a great event. It's almost like a celebration of the gospel with an NFL backdrop. They've been doing some things to reach out, to the Black community, especially after Kaepernick, and that was one of them.
Yep, that's definitely good. Thanks for mentioning that, Rodney. We appreciate that.
Singing players, that's what we do.
I'm sorry?
No, we're not
singing players. That's what we do. Singing football players.
Absolutely. Oh, I don't know if I got to this or not, but Dick Vermeil and Alonzo and LaMelo are entrenched in a real estate.
You got to that, Rodney.
Did I say that? I was your.
Yeah, you said that already.
Oh, so Dick and the balls are getting together.
Yeah, you said that. You said that. Now let me talk about a subject that I know you're gonna want to talk about, Rodney. I know you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one. A Laker player by the name of Jared Dudley dropped a new book. The book is called Inside the NBA Bubble: Championship Under Quarantine. He dropped a new book. He said in the book, the Lakers felt supremely disrespected by Paul George, and they couldn't wait to face them in the NBA playoffs last year, which, as we all know, never happened. But there's also something else he said in the book. He said in the book that the Lakers have the Clippers circled in case they face them this year. So with all that being said, I think there's a whole lot more animosity, that's even being mentioned instead of all the players dapping up and everything else, especially since they were talking about it since last year. You know what I mean? And we all know that the Clippers last year, they were talking a lot of trash last year, and the Lakers felt it, they heard it, they zeroed in on those dudes. So Rodney, when you hear that, what's your thought process?
I mean, there's always this big brother, little brother syndrome with the Clippers and the Lakers. It's been going on for many years. For many years, it was just a non-factor. The Clippers were so bad, it was just a non-issue, and now it's the issue again. It's good for the city of LA that there's a rivalry. But the crazy part is we're in this crazy bubble situation, so the fans don't get to see it. They don't get to be in the stadium. They don't get to see it. And when I hear the story about the Lakers and the Clippers wanting to meet, I mean that's great, but the Clippers not working.
You know what though? I'll say this for the record. I think there's a lot more dissension there. If he actually took the time to write that down and put it in a book, there's a whole lot more dissension there that we could even imagine what they're talking about. Talent. What you think is going on up there between the two teams, LA and LA?
Oh, LA. Let me explain something. Hold on. This is my agent, Rodney. Said I got to do this 2 more times. What's more amazing is the response of Paul George by dropping, I think, 32 or 36 points right after he, found out he was in the book and mentioned. And he said he felt disrespectful that Paul George ranked himself up there with AD and LeBron and hadn't won anything. So he used that as fuel for the last game that he just had to drop the 30-plus points. And then he goes on and said, I don't know why, but these guys love to grab my name and put it in stuff. That was a quote, an end quote from Paul George. And then he said, next question. He said, I don't know why they like to grab my name and put it in stuff. He said, next question. Just like that. Yeah. I think that whatever fuels you, whatever motivates you, this is sports. I love it. Talk about my mama. Let me talk about your mama. Let's get to it. Let's see who the best is. And then I'm going to end off with.
Yeah. Yeah. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I can't believe that we're talking about Jared again. Wasn't he making sandwiches at one point? When did Jared stop making sandwiches and end up on the Lakers? Jared Dudley, that's what we're talking about. You just lowered the ratings of the show, Frank. Jared Dudley. The only Dudley I know that's famous is Dudley Do-Right, and he was a cartoon when I was a kid. Right. Jared Dudley writing a book. I didn't even know he could write. Why are we talking about Jared Dudley? He didn't even play last year. Yeah, he was on the team, but he never even got in the game. And we talk about Jared Dudley.
You see,
he had time to write a book.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? It's always those players who sit on the bench who be sitting there taking notes and they be writing stuff out. And every now and then they'll put it on the blog or website or everything else. But this brother decided to put it in a book, which is really, 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 really insane. Now, let me throw this out there to you all real fast. The NBA said that they're going to move forward with the All-Star game. And we were talking about, NBA All-Star game yesterday. We were talking about some of this thing. And they are opening up, first of all, the arena. They're allowing 15 to 20,000 fans in. They're turning it basically into a hotbed. And yesterday we were saying that they were talking about it. It was a discussion. They weren't sure. Now the NBA is definitely moving forward with the 3-point contest and the celebrity game that usually happens and the dunk contest and all that stuff. So it's going to be from Friday night to Sunday like they normally do. And they like to move forward like it's a normal All-Star weekend. And we all know, Rodney Perry, we all know that this is COVID. It's Atlanta. That's a hotbed. I mean, we had this discussion yesterday, but what the hell is the NBA think? And then I didn't even mention the NBA now has moved forward with enforcing the players wearing the mask at all times, except when they're getting in the game. They will be fined if they don't. Rodney, what's your thoughts?
Wow. Just had some breaking news. Looks like the deal between Dick Vermeil and the Lonzo and LaMelo, it just fell through.
It fell through.
So it looks like Dick and the ball.
What happened? The ball dropped out the deal?
The ball jumped out of the deal, yeah. And, but to answer your question, I'm sorry. I got my sources, so I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I mean, we just got to get over it, dude. If it's gonna be a super spreader event, it's gonna be that because the All-Star game is going forward. I saw the commercials last night, and they look amazing. I'm low key excited.
Okay,
I'm thinking about doing a comedy show called Hachu.
Talent, what's your talent?
Maybe we can get Alonzo and LaMelo to fall through. I wonder when the balls come through.
Now, what's your thoughts?
I would like to be down on the hot shoe. I think that, like, I agree with Rodney. It's gonna happen. It's going through. I stand where I stand with the whole. Hopefully, it's not a super spreader, and it's more so what I hope it to be, which is morale boost of people and getting their mindset to getting back to normalcy. Because productivity is the only way we get back to normalcy. Mm-hmm. If we sit on our asses and we think it's the end of the world and it ain't gonna be normal again, and we do nothing, nothing begets nothing. If you do nothing long enough, you start to think that's the normal. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I don't want us to get into that place. So it's gonna happen. I pray to God it's not a super spreader. We don't lose more people because of it, but yet we gain more morale and just more like positivity and getting to work and back to home.
Fig, what's your thought process on this, bro?
About the NBA? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get right back to you. Listen, I just got off the phone with Kanye. He said the NBA doesn't like black people.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know you had his number. That's crazy. Yeah.
I get back to
that's crazy, man. I don't know. Listen, we talking about the All-Star game. I mean, they playing regular games, so they can play an All-Star game. I don't know how many people they letting in. I heard, is this the event where they talking about letting in 20,000 people, half of the stadium? Is that what this is? Yeah. Like Tyler said, man, I love basketball more than anything, man. The All-Star game is always a great event for me. Three-pointer, the dunk contest, the game itself, you get to see all of the stars assembled at one place at the same time. So it's a great event, man. I just think it's absolutely dope. I think it's one of the best all-star games that you could put together in sports, period, whether it be football, baseball, I think the NBA does it the best. But like Talon said, I just pray to God that it doesn't turn into a super spreader.
In other news, the number 3 center in the league is starting to make some news, and nobody even knows who he is. He is the Phoenix Suns center, DeAndre Ayton. He's on the heels of AD out of the Lakers. But I'm going to say this right now for the record. I think he's doing really, really well because Chris Paul went to Phoenix. They're feeding him the ball. They're doing more work with him. Phoenix is way better than people are assuming. They might even make some noise in the playoffs that people aren't, because Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton are supposed to be becoming the West version of the big 3 because everybody's looking at how they're doing. And they're winning a lot of games. So I'm going to throw this out to you, Phoenix, Roddy, even though you're in the middle of cracking, talking about Dick Vermeil and the balls dropping out of your deal.
Hold on, brother. I mean, I got sources. You got sources. Why you don't respect my sources?
I respect it, so I said throw it to you, and I'm just saying I'm gonna throw it to you, because I know you got your issues with your balls. Talk about they drop it out of the league and everything.
It's Alonzo and LaMelo. They got first names, Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gracious, man.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your report, bro. I apologize. But what you think about this, Roddy Perry? What you think about DeAndre Ayton?
I don't know, man. I was doing something. I don't even know who that is.
That's my point.
I don't know who that is.
He's balling with Chris Paul, Devin Booker. He believe it or not, he's the number 3 center in the league right now.
Out there in Phoenix?
Yeah, out there in Phoenix.
Let me tell you something, man. I watched a game last night.
Me too.
Pacers and the Bucks. Let me tell you something. It was like watching a WNBA game. These guys were like, it's a big difference between the best player, the best. Like we always talk about the best guys in the league, and then the other guys, or like when you got LeBron and AD, and you got the other guys. There are teams full of the other guys, and so when you think about teams like that, it's like, and no disrespect, these guys are good in real life, but when you watch them. And they don't operate at the same speed as the Russell Westbrooks and the Bradley Beals. It's glaring how different. It's like it's 2 NBAs almost. It's like the top what 30% and the rest of them.
You know, the funny thing is, Roddy, you're absolutely right, because that's why the NBA people have complained and saying there's too many NBA teams because there's too many average players. And that's been a topic about in the NBA for years. They were saying because a lot of the NBA teams aren't making any money and they're not doing good on TV at home because of the exact reason you just said. You know, I can't even say. Yeah,
the argument is with that. When you talk about that, what do you do about that? Because everything is relative to the time. Because we all can point out players that are now today are superstars or on that level of that 30 percentile, and 2-3 seasons ago they weren't.
Yeah,
it's like the Brad, like the Ronnie always said, hey, y'all talking about Bradley Beal on a losing team. Because he's exceptional right now, but we can go back 3-4 seasons and we weren't talking about Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do with those players not knowing the future and everybody's peak level? Like, you just can't call it. Yeah, I'm not talking about you in 88, but 94, goddamn. You know what I mean? So you got to let them play.
Yeah. Faye, what's your thoughts?
Man, I always like, I talked about it, I think when we was talking about the bubble, we talked about how dope Phoenix was. I think they went 8-0. They didn't lose any games. And we was like, yo, Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, you know what I mean? They coming along. They're going to be, they seem like they're going to be that next duo to come up, you know what, and do something, man. Because both of those guys are box office. I don't know if this is just DeAndre Ayton's maturation or whether Chris Paul has anything to do with it. But I'll tell you this. I don't think anybody's going to want to see him in the playoffs, and I don't give a damn who you are, Clippers, Lakers, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody's going to want to see him in the playoffs because when you see when they get to the playoffs, they're a team to be reckoned with.
Listen, last question of the show. Why are we not talking about Zion? He made such a huge noise. Everybody thought he was the next LeBron James. He was going to be tearing the walls off. He was busting sneakers open. He was doing – quiet as kept. We are year 2 in. So is he having his sophomore slump? I mean, the Pelicans are still doing something. Is he in a sophomore slump? Is he not as good as we thought he was? Is he an average player? I mean, what you think, Rodney Perry? Because I don't even see highlights on Zion. What you think, Rodney?
I'd never been on board with this guy. He built like Tyler Perry. He won't push away. He won't push away from the table. He's still, you know, he think he's just young and he can do this. You know, he's almost Barkley-esque in terms of his physicality, but you know, I don't know if you can operate at that size in the NBA and not be. He needs to be a little taller and slimmer, and I think he can be as explosive and really make an impact then. But you know, he's not growing no more. I mean. Everybody, he's supposed to be a phenom, and like you said, you don't hear nothing about him. And guess where he is? In the city that hates basketball, New Orleans.
Yeah, because I haven't heard nothing about him all season. Talent, what's your thoughts?
Well, you heard about him last night because he put up a phenomenal performance, and he got a phenomenal couple of plays where he glided through the air. I beg to differ with the body type. I think he reminds me of Rodney Rogers. Everybody remember Rodney Rogers? You know, he had that same built heaviness to him, but he was able to. Some people are strong enough to lug that stuff, man. And some people need to play. Some people need to play slim and glide. And then you got these strong Barkley types and Rodney Rogers, these guys who are more stout and heavy, but somehow they have a 10, 12, 15-year career. I like them. I just think that sometimes coming into the league with all that hype, that could work against you.
Yeah,
because if this guy came into the league with zero hype and was as good as he is, then we'd be talking about from a different angle. But when you put all that hype, keep in mind, he came in with some LeBron hype, bro.
Yeah, he did.
Came in with some LeBron hype.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard.
Yeah, but when you, on the flip side of that, when you come in with no hype, you turn out to be Fred VanVleet. Everybody's looking at you. You're shot like, wow, where'd he come from?
Or Manu Ginobili. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true, too. That's very true, too. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Let me just break it down. I can't believe that both of my comrades missed this point right here. Is the question was, why aren't we talking about Zion? Because you asked the questions, Frank. That's why. And you haven't mentioned him. That's the reason why we're not talking about him. Because you ask the questions and you're not talking about Zion, so we can't talk about Zion. That's why nobody's talking about Zion.
Or because we're talking about Bradley Beal, for God's sake.
And let me just tell you this.
Or because
and I'll tell you this. Zion Williams has been balling out. Let me just tell you. And I think the fact that he's in New Orleans could be a reason. And that's why Anthony Davis wanted to get up out of New Orleans, because he was in there. But last night he was on. You must have missed it. You was watching something else on your computer.
No.
Sports Center.
I saw that.
Sports Center had him up there. He went off last night. He was knocking down threes, dunked. He went completely off.
I saw that, but I asked the question because he finally made a highlight. But we're almost 50 games in the season, and he finally made a highlight. And when I was asking why aren't we talking, I wasn't talking about us four. I was talking about the entire sports media as a whole. The whole world. Like nobody's talking about Zion. I'm talking about us. Yeah, I asked the question, but the world, last night. Let's be honest. Last night Zion made Sports Center highlights. When was the last time we saw Zion made Sports Center highlights? It was last season.
Yesterday.
No. He made the highlight. He was at McDonald's and he ordered 15 Big Macs.
Yeah, so that's my point. My point is that the sports world in general, the sports press is not paying attention to Zion because he's still doing a little bit of work out there, but he's not up for everybody. He's not on the pedestal everybody put him on. That's all.
Let me just tell you this. I think the reason that nobody is talking about him, number one, is that the big news story coming into this year was Kawhi and Paul George because of what happened in the bubble last year. And then you got the big Clippers stories with KD coming back, Kyrie coming back, and then James Harden goes to the Nets. So those are bigger stories other than what, any individual player is doing in a regular season, especially if you're not looking for them to contend for the championship at the end of the year.
Now, that's the last word of the show. Of course, we got to get ready to roll out the show. Rodney, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, man, it's your boy Rodney Perry. You can check me out online. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live is all social media. It looks like LeVar Ball is getting in on this deal. And it's going to be.
Tell everybody how they can follow you, Charlie.
We got 3 balls now?
I didn't say that, but yes.
You can follow me on my brand new website. I just put it up while we were on the air. That's why I kept looking down. I was getting my website up. You can follow me at .com. .com. Once again,
hey, how you spell that?
Yo, Tyler, are you still in Tampa Bay this weekend?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa now. They had the golf thing. I'm over here with my man Mike Phillips next door. They got us on this resort. You know, I don't play golf, but I go because they have an open bar. So I'll be out there all day. We have the comedy show going down with myself, Joe Torre, and many more. We got my girl Ida Rodriguez doing the Caliente comedy and music. Mike Phillips doing the jazz, the throwbacks with Chubb Rock and all these artists out here. So it's a full week of exposure out here. I'm going to be rubbing elbows. I'm gonna get us some connects, man. Get us on the show. And again, you can find me on all social media at .com.
I just found it. I got it.
Wait, is everybody how they can follow you?
Yo, you can follow your boy at all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. Listen, and Monday through Friday, you can find your boy on the box seats, baby. Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. right here, the best damn sports show on TV.
And that's the show. This is Box Seats. I'm Frank Holder. That's Talent. That's Fig. That's Rodney. We'll see y'all tomorrow between 1 to 2 p.m.
Alonzo and LaMelo.
Y'all take it easy.